Podcast starts now. What's up, everybody? You are listening to StraightioLab, and you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, thank you for taking care of yourself.
Thank you for supporting us. Is self-care, it's self-love, it's self-respect.
Yeah, it's a more Christian form of self-care because by supporting someone else, you're supporting yourself.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this,
So maybe decolonize and try supporting a podcaster when you're looking for self-care tips.
um,
Sam, we have to address the fact that we are, I would say, on the brink of collapse.
I think we
And I
should.
know you hate addressing things like this, but that's why you have to do it.
Okay, I'm not that afraid to address the fact that we're on the brink, but yeah, we are on the brink of collapse. Would you like to sort of explain why?
We are kind of in this we are kind of in this week where we accidentally planned about a month's worth of things in 1 week that we're doing together.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had our New York Comedy Festival show last night. Today, I personally had a full day of work. And then we are recording now and then have a 10 p.m. It is now 8 p.m. on a Thursday. We have a 10 p.m. show that we are doing after this, a 10 p.m. live show at a venue. Then we are coming back and leaving for Los Angeles tomorrow,
Yeah.
where we are doing 2 shows in a row and then 3 recordings in a row. And then I very intelligently didn't take off of work, so I'm going to have to wake up at 5 a.m. and do New York hours at my job before each show and each recording. And then I'm coming back to New York City, and my mom is arriving for Thanksgiving 2 days later and staying with me.
I thought the whole thing was that she was getting a hotel.
No. No. She lied about wanting to stay in a hotel so she would manipulate me into actually asking her to stay with me. And so what happened was she said, you know what, it's fine, I'll stay at a hotel. And then I said, oh, I can recommend one. She was like, how dare you? And so now she is staying with me for almost a full week.
Wow. Well, that's insane. Yeah, I mean, how do you deal with the pressure?
I actually don't know. I think I might. I might collapse at any given point, to be honest. And actually, I think it might happen at tonight's 10 p.m. show.
Yeah,
I think at
that's
some point I will
possible.
run out of things to say and start kind of doing. It'll be one of those viral videos where rather than comedian destroys heckler, it'll be like comedian destroys random person in the audience. Our guest, who is not allowed to speak, says that her apartment is empty during that time and it's very mom friendly, and correctly then guesses that she would be offended if I suggested that.
Wow.
Would you ever house your parents in your apartment?
I've housed my uncle. I've housed my dad, but not for like 2 weeks at a time. Like, how long is your mom here?
No, it's not 2 weeks. It's like, I mean, she's staying with me for a few days. Then my dad is coming. Then they are staying at a hotel, and then he's leaving, and she's coming back to me. It's very Greek mom kind of energy.
Yeah, yeah. I actually do feel like now more than ever we are at the risk of like truly running out of things to talk about in a way that
No, we can't go there. I actually do
we-
have something we have to talk about.
what?
Okay, so we have never addressed the fact that the other night when we were with our friend Max and walking in Williamsburg, someone from their stoop said, fuck off. And then we were like, what? And he said, fuck off. And then Max said, why? And he said, because I just said so. Fuck off.
Yeah, we had an amazing night. A sort of a, and that, I know you don't like when I say this, but it just really was such a gay guys night. You know what I mean?
God.
It was
You
just
are
like,
so insecure about being a gay guy.
no, I love it. I think it's beautiful. I just think it was like, it was like 4 gay guys, like out in
4 gay guys.
Williamsburg, like
Yeah.
eating sushi and like screaming about cum into the like ether.
Right.
And so then we're walking, we're literally yelling. I believe the conversation we were having as we were passing this man, well, directly before passing this man, I was talking about this theory I have that I can't wear a jockstrap because it chafes my asshole.
Oh, yeah. And we were like, that's not where the asshole is.
And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens is the jeans chafe my asshole.
Right. And then you wouldn't believe us that that's not where the asshole is. So then you said that you were going to design an experiment where you had 10,000 gay guys wear jock straps and then tested whether their buttholes are chafed.
Well, no, I was going to put lipstick on their buttholes and we would see if there was lipstick on the jeans.
Oh, you wanted to see if the butthole could potentially touch the strap.
Exactly.
I see. Okay, well, I mean, at least you're using the scientific method.
Well, yeah, I'm not an idiot, of course.
Well, according to this guy who told us to fuck off, you're barely worthy of acknowledging.
So yeah, essentially we were then talking about how the restaurants in this on this street looked bad and empty, and then this man sitting on the stoop yelled at us to fuck off.
And so our theories were like either he owned the restaurant, which you disagreed with.
I disagree with most of the theories actually. I
Okay.
think very instantly we were, you know, trying to spin a narrative. I could feel
Yeah, well, we tell ourselves stories in order to
we tell those stories in
live.
order to live, in order to walk to Metropolitan.
Hmm.
And it really just started to feel like, you know, the odds that he is the owner of the
Right.
restaurant and is disgruntled and like
Yeah.
happens to be outside and like takes this very personally. It was sort of like, yeah, I mean, you could like my message to anyone that believes that, go out
Hmm.
there and you write that story.
Yeah.
Like that is so powerful and
I
you should
think
write
you're
that
pointing to
story.
something so smart, which is that much like people tried to explain away, let's say, the election of Donald Trump, we were like, we saw someone being kind of antisocial in the sense that he was yelling at four strangers. And we were like, well, he has to have a reason. We were like, maybe it's economic anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. We were like, well, this is based in, you know, politics in some way.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, I think he was just like a kind of drunk guy sitting on a stoop, like being
Yeah.
pissed off about nothing.
And I will say this importantly, which we haven't mentioned, he had a gay voice. He was gay. So this wasn't a homophobic. What, do you disagree?
No, I
But it's now occurring to me that the listeners are probably like, oh, he saw four gay guys and he wanted to like he was like yelling at them. No, 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 no. It was internalized homophobia.
well, I just think it's funny. Again, we're making assumptions about this man. Like
Sam,
even
he
in the
was
moment,
gay.
you think he had gay voice. I would have never called it gay voice.
What do you think? He just had an accent?
He just had voice. I just heard voice. I heard a beautiful
He
voice.
was very voicey. He should write a book of essays.
I
So,
mean, he was definitely sassy. There was definitely attitude there.
yes, he was sassy. And I guess anyone can be sassy.
Yes, that's not gendered or sexualized.
And it's not on me. Maybe he identifies as queer but hasn't defined it as gay.
Maybe he's straight and
Maybe he's
but
bisexual but has a girlfriend.
maybe he's bisexual but has a boyfriend.
Whoa.
See, anything's possible. And again, I mean, we don't know anything about this man, and yet we're
Yeah.
desperate to sort of make sense of what was just a random moment. There's even a sense where I'm like, was he even real? Did we make him
No,
up?
here's
You
what I
know?
think, actually. I actually think we're thinking about this the wrong way in that we think of ourselves as the main characters and we were like, who is this rando telling us to fuck off? I actually think he's the main character. He was having like a kind of HBO girls when Hannah's at the beach with the sandwich moment. And then suddenly here come these four annoying, screeching gay guys yelling about putting lipstick on buttholes. And he's like, excuse me, I'm going through a breakup.
So you're saying that are the like under five in his
Exactly. We
TV
are
show?
getting paid day rates. We answered an ad. We're unwrapped.
We're unwrapped. Our the characters' names are gay guy 1, 2, 3,
Literally,
and 4.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I just think that's crazy, and it's hard. You know, it's hard to believe that.
You
Just
don't
because
think that's okay? You are kind of rejecting so you just like reject any kind of narrative.
I no, you're not. You're not letting me finish. I'm not
Okay.
rejecting any kind of narrative. I just think we were four
Yeah.
gay guys
Yeah.
walking down the street. You know what else there's four of?
Girls.
The Sex and the City girls
Oh, and the girls.
and the HBO's girls.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure if
oh,
there's
so
four
we're the
people
main
doing
characters
something,
because
we're
there's
the
four of
main
us.
character.
Okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure if there's four people doing something, that's the story.
Okay, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Not to mention the fact that one of us was each of the girls.
Yes, one of us is each of the girls, and also the fact that we were having a conversation about putting lipstick on a butthole is very Sex in the City. Like
It's very Sex and
that's
the
something that
City.
isn't like improvised dialogue. That was written and edited.
That was, I mean, the network saw those lines and
Yeah.
they like had notes for them. And but they loved it. They loved the direction, but they had notes.
Right. Okay. I mean, I guess I believe you. So maybe he was he was like guy on stoop. He didn't have a name.
He didn't have a name.
Oh.
And I bet improvised his like fourth fuck you.
Whoa.
Yeah, I bet there were only 3 in the script.
And that's why he's going places, because I actually think he's kind of like, he's kind of like one of those small roles that you think is not going to be anything, but then years later there are gifts, and people are sharing, me when I'm, when I see XYZ, and then it's like that guy being like, fuck off.
You know what it is? It's he's kind of giving me like Melissa McCarthy in Charlie's Angels 1.
He is absolutely Melissa McCarthying it up.
Because it's like, yeah, it's just a little bit part that he got, but like he's eating, and like people are gonna take notice.
No, he's in his kind of it's like Catherine Hahn before she got the big roles.
Exactly.
Wow. Well,
I mean, should we bring in our guest now?
I think we have to bring in our guest, and I want to say we're so excited to have this guest on. Truly.
This is huge for us.
And often we lie about that, but this
Yeah.
time we're actually telling the truth.
Or are we?
And the thing with this guest, she is someone who is known for being intelligent, and we wanted to see, but can she also be stupid? And that's why we invited her on this podcast. So without further ado, Sam, do the honors.
Please welcome to the pod, Jia Tolentino.
I think I'm known for also being stupid, though.
Okay.
Okay, fact checking.
Like, I was speaking at Sarah Lawrence yesterday, and these like...
Okay, I'm sorry, Gia. Already, I'm speaking at Sarah Lawrence.
No, but like, someone was like, "Why
Public
did your..."
intellectual alert.
Someone was like, "Why do you think your book?" Because I mean, I still am like kind of horrified / like crushed / like in disbelief at the fact that my book actually sold. And someone was like, "Why do you think it sold so much?" And I was like, "Well, unfortunately, the cover is good on Instagram. People people are interested in the lives of young women who are, quote unquote, good at the internet, and then be like, I'm kind of stupid, Like, I think
Oh, I see.
like
so you're
like my brain is so obviously damaged that I think it's approachable. But thank you for calling me smart. Can I ask questions about the butthole thing?
Oh, please.
Yeah, please.
And actually, thank you for addressing it and not
Thank
shying
you for
away from
addressing
it.
this.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, but I feel like there's no way the lipstick would get on the jockstrap unless I'm fundamentally misunderstanding what a jockstrap is. It's like a
No,
chap.
Gia,
okay, so-
Gia,
so-
you are
chaps,
hold
right?
on.
It's a chap
Gia,
situation.
you are correct, and you are correct, and you are
crazy
not
to think that
fundamentally
your butthole-
misunderstanding. It is,
No,
thank
no, no,
you.
no.
That is
Okay,
the
no,
debate that was
listen.
happening.
No, you're missing the point. Okay,
No.
But Sam, you thought that your butthole would get on like the butt, the like cupping your
Yes.
below your cheeks?
Sam,
no,
yes,
no, that's
Sam
not
was
what
like,
I thought.
I keep
That's
when
not
I
what
wear.
thought.
Okay,
I'm
go
being
ahead.
silenced.
Okay.
You thought it would get on like the crotch part?
I thought it would get on the jeans. I thought your asshole, because there's no butt part in the jockstrap, your asshole touches the
Oh,
jeans
yeah.
and chafes on the denim.
Okay, but Gia,
Okay.
I guess maybe I just have a bodacious booty, but I don't think if I were to sit down not wearing
That the
anything on my
asshole
butt,
flattens
my actual
out
hole,
to the jean.
yeah,
I'm like trying to locate my asshole in my seat right now.
I know, same.
I think if I wasn't I'm wearing underwear, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Are y'all's assholes touching your pants?
Mine is absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have a great booty, so I envy you.
I would have said in a previous life, maybe 2 years ago, before I had done this experiment for myself,
Oh,
I would have
did you
said,
do
yeah,
it?
of course. I'm telling you,
Well, he wore a jockstrap. He didn't do the lipstick, to be clear.
my asshole was chafed from.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And you were doing the lipstick
No,
thing to
I'm
prove
done.
it, like you're gonna do like it's like a bounty
Exactly,
commercial where you see the
Yes.
print or whatever.
Yes.
No, my asshole. I wore a jockstrap with jeans and like trying to be like sexy, and my asshole hurt afterwards. And I think it was because it was chafing on the jeans.
Trying to be sexy. So like just like a sexy surprise for yourself, or is that like to take off your jeans and be like, ooh, I'm just wearing a jockstrap?
A little bit of both. A little
Okay,
bit of like,
okay.
ooh,
Yeah.
I'm being bad.
And also, often, Gia, in these kinds of nights, you end up somewhere where everyone takes off their pants.
Sure. And all the better to have. But aren't jockstraps typically like kind of utilitarian looking, or are they also like fashion?
Well, that's like the thing.
Are you talking about like a harness situation, or are we talking like CVS like medical jockstrap,
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Sam's sexuality generally is like, it's like, what if a smelly straight guy at the gym
We're gay.
was the hottest.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? I'm totally seeing it. And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you have to like literally there are like locker room themed bars,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's
Cool.
like that's sort of the vibe.
I told you guys I was tragically straight. This is why I don't know.
No, I love this.
It
Like
seems
for
very
instance, Gia,
honest,
you know, the
yeah.
other week our friends, I think neither of us actually went, but there's jockstrap night at the Eagle where everyone wears a
fun.
jockstrap, and that's like part of the.
And is it like standard issue jockstrap or?
Well, you can have. There's no
What would you
rule.
say?
I think you can
There's no
have
rule.
fun
But
with
like,
it.
what's the majority? You know what I mean? What's the?
The majority is not like some fancy expense. It's like it's just
yeah, the
it's pretty
majority is
basic.
like
Right.
basic.
Yeah, and it's almost like fetishizing.
Right,
It's,
like
again, it's
harkening back to
fetishizing
the
like
gym,
locker room
like
culture.
high school,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very very 90s.
Can I also tell you guys a quick story related to that intro?
Please.
Would love
So when I was in the Peace Corps in 2010, I was like, Sam, we have to talk about this. We went to college together. Although when did you, I have a question for you and I didn't look up, I could have looked up the answer, but I wanted you to tell me and me remember this in real time. But when did you graduate?
that. 2011.
Okay, so we're 2 years apart. So I did the Peace Corps right after UVA, and I had thought about getting an MFA after UVA, but one of my professors there, like God bless, I was like, I think I could maybe write something good. And so should I go to an MFA to see? And he was like, why don't you just try to write something good first? And then if you actually can, you can go to the MFA to like write more of it. And I was like, honestly, great advice, iconic advice. So I went to the Peace Corps and I was like, okay, but I still want to write. Like I still found myself writing in my free time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just try to write a novel, something that I can complete. That's my goal. And I was like, okay, here's my idea. I've always been into sort of like a capsule. Like I've always wanted to write something like a script or something, but then it was a novel that takes place with an extremely like closed amount of time. Like I just rewatched Force Majeure, like that kind of vibe. Like
Yes,
perfect movie, right?
totally.
Like just one thing happens and then it just spirals over
Yeah.
48 hours. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a novel about 4 best friends who have just graduated from college and they're walking along like the Hudson River one day and they see a plane crash in the early morning and it's the rest of that day. And the tentative title for my novel was Girls. And
Oh my god.
and so I was like alone in the middle of nowhere, like internet, the next internet place where I can get internet is like a 2-hour bus ride away or an hour-long bus ride away. So I'm really in the middle of nowhere writing this novel. I was dating this guy who also went to UVA, actually, related to our topic. He was in Houston. He was in grad school in Houston. And so I could only like see him if I took a 5-hour bus to the capital city and got on Skype at an internet cafe, like extremely 2010. Like I was in the middle of nowhere. I did it on Halloween, actually, and I disguised myself as a high school student because I was grounded, because that's a thing that can happen in Peace Corps. And so I was like, if someone sees me in the Capitol, I'll get kicked out, which I had almost been kicked out a bunch of times. And so I was like in this like elaborate disguise, and it was like kind of cool because speaking of the sort of high school, you know, the excitement of doing high school drag, like I was in this, to me, fairly exotic, like I'm just like a Kyrgyz schoolgirl, and I was in, and it was also my Halloween costume, and I was in an internet cafe, and I was Skyping him, and my laptop was in my backpack like underneath me, and it got stolen, and with it my first novel called Girls.
No.
Isn't that
Oh
so
my
funny?
God.
I mean, it wasn't funny then, but it to me now is
Yeah.
so funny.
And then Lena Dunham found it and
Stole it.
Yeah, like did like a
Yeah.
few edits. She was like,
took the
okay, instead
plane
of a
crash
plane
out, but
yeah. She was like,
Yeah.
instead of a plane crash, she drinks a tea.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
instead of
And
like
now it's
over
my
the
pilot.
day, they like go to
Yeah.
Bushwick.
yeah.
yeah.
But isn't that, yeah, it's what could have
I mean,
been,
that's
you know?
actually
Oh my God.
insane.
I know.
Truly. Wow. So for us, the equivalent of the plane crash was the guy telling us to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's so, I mean, I might have missed some key details of that story. I was extremely soothed by your intro just there, but I feel like that's a really interesting conversation. And if someone walked by me on the street discussing, I would be like, I would
you.
weigh in, I would want to weigh
Right.
in, not yell at you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was clearly, not to make more narrative around him, but he was afraid of learning more.
Yeah.
He was overwhelmed by knowledge.
He was simply afraid, of putting lipstick on a butthole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, Sam, did
Yeah.
you answer if your butthole is touching your pants? Oh wait, no, we've already answered it. It is because it chafed.
Because it chafed. I mean,
Yeah.
this is. I'm literally like people. Everyone weigh
Wait,
in.
hold on.
I think
Yeah.
I think people's buttholes will chafe on denim unless they have strong buttholes.
Not if you've got the cheeks, you know. Not if you've
Right,
really
not
got,
if you got the cheeks. And so what I want to say, the reason why Sam wanted to use the scientific method is because we were like, okay, you did this once and your butt happened to chafe. So maybe it just was something else that made it chafe that one time. And it
100%.
wasn't causation versus,
100%.
you know what I mean?
You would have to
So
do it
that's
probably
why-
100 times.
100
and
times.
and
I
get
mean,
the percentage out of
you
100.
would, yeah. I mean,
You know?
by that point, you need institutional funding.
Yeah,
you need,
exactly.
you
Double
know-
blind, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you need a grant, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
of course, we know how the grant, that kind of grant application process can be so hard and it can take years. And the politics.
I'm imagining sort of a patent application with the diagram,
Exactly.
you know.
Oh,
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
The experimental design.
Gia, I have a question. What were the names of your characters in Jia Tolentino's Girls?
I would love to know.
You know what? I don't even remember because the whole fucking thing was stolen. Like it in a way that this story is actually like one of the reasons that I like maybe decided to try to become a writer, which was not an ambition that I had prior to that because it seemed unrealistic, or it like does still seem a little unrealistic, but I don't fucking remember because like I was completely insane the entire time I was in Peace Corps, and also like it was gone. Like it's, I worked like it was just gone, I had no backup. And so like I remember that one of them was a teacher because one of the girls it was based on was a teacher, it was really closely based on three of my close friends at UVA, or like my I don't fucking remember.
Damn.
And it was a full novel draft.
It was like 120 pages, so pretty far for when you're that age,
that's
right?
pretty far. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, okay.
Damn.
Sam, I've been trying to think. Okay, so as we know, we went to school together, and I knew about you, and we met because you were in that improv group, right?
Yeah.
With
yeah.
my ex-boyfriend, who I dated for
Wow.
all of college.
You dated him all of college? That is crazy.
Sam, like he, like I have lived with a man, with the exception of maybe 9 months in my entire life, more or less nonstop since I was 16. Like that's what I mean when I say I'm tragically straight. Like I've lived with a man in my house, like not just like it, like in my, like it's, I really think I should have not done that in college, but somehow I did. And not like I had male roommates, but this was like, he was in my room for 3 years,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That is
but
so much.
you know what? So he started that group. What is the name of it? I've been trying to remember it.
The improv group was called Amuse Bouche.
Amuse Bouche.
Oh
with
my
Sashir.
God.
With
With
Sashir, right?
Sashir.
Yeah.
With
And
Sashir and
didn't he
Natasha Bean
start
Bach.
it? Natasha.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
yeah.
saw her this. Oh, that's right. Because I don't want to cast aspersions on this man who I truly, truly loved, from ages 17 to 20 or whatever. But I think he started it because he kept not getting into the Weathermen, which is the group that all of my roommates were in. And so,
Oh my God. You were torn between two worlds.
In retrospect, I was like at the linchpin of what I now also in retrospect recognize to be like quite a tense domestic situation.
I mean, the beef between Amuse Bouche and the Weathermen was so strong.
Was it really real?
Oh my God. It would be like.
Did you guys like
they'd,
go to each other's shows but pretend that you were supportive, but also, or would you just like do a sort of
No, we would
torn
try. We tried to work together. We tried I remember trying to
You did, like, a
throw up-
double
maybe
show
throw
once.
group parties or something. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was always like. I mean, we were always interpreting them as like miffing us and like thinking they're better than us because they were more popular, of course. But
You guys were new. Is Amuse Bouche still going?
I think they are. I think
Cool.
they are.
George, is this thrilling for you hearing about UVA improv rivalries?
Well, it's funny. It's funny because this has come up before.
Oh, really?
I mean, it has come up when we had Sashir on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny. Everyone from Sam's past, it's always something like when we had Jeremy O'Harris on, Jeremy and Sam went to high school together and Jeremy bullied Sam
Oh,
in high school. And they
perfect,
had like a
perfect.
come to Jesus moment where Jeremy, to his credit, fully apologized to Sam on air for bullying him in high school.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it was actually very
I'm so
sweet.
glad you had that moment. I wish
Yeah,
I had
it's fun.
bullied you so that I can
I know, I
was about to say,
Gia,
similar, you know.
If you want to apologize for anything now,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what like minor slight can I bring up and we can like really get into? And then it's like, there actually
There's
isn't
not really
one.
like we were kind of ships in the night, I feel.
I was also like, you met me, I was like so timid and quiet then. I was like definitely like,
well, like
I was
UVA
afraid
is
of.
also such a straight school. It's
Yeah.
why I went there. I was like, my odds of getting a cute boyfriend will be much higher here than in many other places.
Well, Gia was like, as long as there's no gays there, sign me up.
Yeah, I was so homophobic. I was like, I need to minimize.
Yeah, and you still are.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, famously.
Famously.
Okay, Gia, because we're like already getting kind of into the topic, I wanna get our little segment out of the way, and then I wanna dive right in
Let's
to
do
what
it.
we're here to talk about.
Also, you have a 10 o'clock show to make, so chop it up.
I know. I'm literally gonna have to like get in an Uber instantly after finishing this.
No, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. They told us there was pizza there, so
Nice.
that's good enough for me.
Nice. It's going to be really good pizza. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, Gia, our first segment is called Straight Shooters, and in this segment, we test your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture by asking you a series of rapid-fire, completely nonsensical questions where you have to pick one thing or another thing. And the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions about how the game works, and if you even dare to do so, you will be kicked out of the Zoom at once.
Yeah, it'll be Peace Corps style. We'll
Yeah.
Yeah.
So put your little
Put me on
teenage
play.
outfit on and get ready.
I'm strapped in. You have to say that
all right,
because you have to
Sam?
stop people from immediately asking the question of like,
It's
how do
always,
I get
yeah.
okay.
Well, it's now people have kind of caught on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and no one does it
I've
anymore.
listened
But
about
in
it,
the
but yeah.
in the beginning, it was very much like part of the joke was people kept asking questions and we kept getting mad at them.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm strapped in.
Okay, great. Okay, Gia, the fall of Twitter or the rise of Gru?
The rise of Gru.
Okay, Gia, the New Yorker Radio Hour or the one and only Al Roker's incredible staying power.
Oh my god. I like not to be okay. I guess I have to say the New Yorker Radio Hour because I work there.
Okay. Being above average or watching below deck?
Being above average.
Okay, donating to a cause or living for the applause.
Living for the applause.
Okay, Frankenstein's monster or Frank and Brian's third?
Frank and Brian's third.
Okay, get him to the Greek or get her a tequila shot. It's Cinco de Mayo, bitch.
Get her a tequila shot at Cinco de Mayo, bitch.
I love that. Figgy pudding or faggy posture?
I feel like I can't utter even part of a slur, so I'm going to say figgy pudding.
Okay. All right, Gia. Democracy is on the ballot or the autocracy of Alison Roman's shallot?
The autocracy of Alison Roman shallot.
Wow, perfect.
Wow.
I mean,
Incredible. Tens across
Tens,
the board.
tens,
I
tens.
answered
1,000
based
does.
on desire, like, which I like.
Yeah,
I could
at
feel the
any
heart in
given
that.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would much prefer an Alison Roman shallot rather than an election where democracy
I'm
is on
so
the ballot.
tired of democracy being on
know.
the
I
ballot.
know. I know. I have to say, I really am. We cannot talk about politics, but I am having kind of a crisis where I was always like, democracy is on the ballot is such bad messaging. Like,
You
to
think?
appeal to like a normal person, but I'm wrong. It seems. I mean, based on these results, I'm like, wow. I really thought I was like so much smarter than everyone, and I was like, no, you can't. Like, people don't care about like, vague truisms and kind of like that kind of like theoretical stuff. Like, they want to know like what's going on with the economy, and then it turns out I was wrong.
You know what? Not to get into it, but did you guys see that I voted sticker? That's like the monster. Like the cute,
Yes.
the Ulster
Yeah, yeah.
County. So that's the county I vote in, and I got 3 stickers. Not to brag, and because
For
my
committing
kid
voter
went,
fraud?
my kid went twice, like once with me and then once with my partner, and so she got, and then we were like, give that to me, and turnout in Ulster County was sky high, and so if everyone had like a meme stock version of the I voted sticker, I honestly think it would boost turnout better than anything. That's my idea.
Yeah.
If any political strategists are listening.
Yeah, no, it is true that they could do so much with the I voted sticker, even just different kinds of party favors.
Oh yeah.
They could kind of, I mean, it could be, sponsored by a brand.
Yeah. Lipstick, jock straps.
You know, what people have never thought of is making the elections privatized and sponsored by brands.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great idea.
That's a really good idea. You could get a little T-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bank
like a
of
Doritos
America
Locos
presents
talk. It's
the
like
election.
very like South by Southwest
Yeah.
circa 2014.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it does feel like I mean, it feels like you should get something for free afterwards.
You do the
And-
sticker, and that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
you do
like,
get the
that's
sticker
What,
and the pen.
Okay, but
oh, I don't get a pen. Damn. But see, if you make the sticker good enough, people will feel like, you know. I'm just saying, like, everyone needs to have the dumbest possible sticker.
Yes, like limited edition drops
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you can only get this at a specific voting booth. It's like the Supreme Metro cards.
That's how I felt. You know.
you should get to watch a trailer for a new movie that hasn't come out
I
yet.
completely agree.
Because the demographic that's missing from the polls is the film nerd demographic. All these movie buffs are refusing to vote.
It's true.
What if you just got like a piece of pizza? That would be cool. The college
true.
tactic.
I mean,
you know, we're inching
Yeah.
ever closer to our topic.
Yeah.
Inching ever closer.
Even just like a little kind of like thing of Dunkin' Donuts, and you can get a little donut hole.
Yeah, they have the big corporate little carafe, the cardboard
Yeah.
carafe, and a little.
that would be
that'd
amazing.
lovely.
Oh, okay. One more thing. They need to step and repeat.
I
Brilliant.
completely agree.
Brilliant. Imagine if that giant spider had been a huge step and repeat. It
Oh
would have
my
been
God.
99.9% turnout.
That's
actually a genius idea.
It's a really good idea because it's actually cheaper. First of all, it's reusable. You just like
Right.
roll up the carpet and you can use it again. And then the background is, of course, just a giant piece of paper. Go to Kinko's,
Right.
you're there. It is cheaper than actually getting a bunch of different things to give out.
And it probably
because it's
doesn't
just one
contravene
thing.
any sort of like whatever, FEC, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not partisan. All it will say is like election 2022,
Sponsored by
midterms
Doritos Locos
2022.
Tacos.
Sponsored by Doritos. I mean, I have to say,
genius.
Sam, that is
That's
truly
really
genius.
genius.
And everyone has a phone with a camera. You don't need like a photographer there taking photos.
Well, they should hire a photographer, to be honest.
You're right. Yeah, and it should have the Getty watermark. Otherwise, what's the point?
Do you guys know about 0.5 selfies? Do you guys take 0.5 selfies? Do you know about this?
Is this
I
like
don't know
wide
about
mode or something? What do
It's
you-
crazy. So I told you, like, last night I was with all these college students and they were like all taking, they were like, let's take 0.5 selfies. And I was like, yeah, you know, and I had no idea what they were doing. And it's you turn your phone, they take it, but it's front facing. So it's like not the typical, like, I feel like we take selfies. I don't know how old we all
So
are.
it's like the
back
front
camera.
camera. It's the back camera.
It's like, yeah, but and then it goes on 0.5. So you look really tiny.
yes. I have seen this.
Yeah. And they were like, and I was like, oh, is this what? And they were like, oh, we never take selfies any other way. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of fun. You kind of look like those Steve Madden ads
Yeah.
where
It's
it's like
the
the
Bratz
face is
doll,
like
like the-
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is weirdly flattering because it's so kind of weirdly shaped
Yeah.
that you don't actually see any of your actual features.
Yeah. It's like fisheye.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's a rejection of traditional beauty standards.
Exactly. It's a rejection of traditional beauty standards, and in
radical,
that way
really.
it is
It's radical.
Yeah.
Really radical.
Okay, so so we need a red carpet, a step and
A
repeat.
Gen Z person to tell everyone how to take 0.5 selfies in case you go with a
Exactly.
group, right?
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
exactly.
Wow. Well, I think we've saved democracy. I mean, democracy is off the ballot because we
Yeah.
fixed
Yeah,
it.
democracy is off the ballot because it won.
Let's get into the topic, actually.
Let's do it.
So, backstory for those who weren't here before the Zoom started, the listeners. We brainstormed something together that I think is actually pretty juicy. It's sorority and even Greek life.
Yeah, it's one of those topics that you'd think would be like one of our first 5 episodes, but it just never came up, and so we've never done it.
Something I learned in my improv training at the University of Virginia
Uh-huh.
is that you don't always need to think of the weirdest thing. You can just say, what's the most obvious thing, and sort of run with that, because people will want to hear about that.
Me and my roommates, also, we have matching rat tattoos on our butts, not our buttholes, on our butts,
Wow.
because we had such a terrible rat infestation at our home on 14th Street that by the end of it we were insane and just all got matching tattoos. Actually, the boys didn't though, but the girls I got matching tattoos with. The girls that Girls was based on. The Girls, the HBO TV show.
Yeah.
Gia Tolentino's
Yeah, Marnie, Shoshana.
Yeah. And but we would always like like threaten to try out for the weather, like the improv troupe. Like we would always like, when it was time, we were always like, guys, like we're coming. And our roommates would be like, haha, like we think you're really funny. You should, you know, but we were like, no, we're gonna, you know, like,
Wow.
and they were so, you know, like the fear of God was in their eyes that they would have to just acknowledge in a formal way that we were not like funny the way that they were.
Well, but it's not just that. It's that men are very afraid when women
That's true.
pursue comedy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
A famous trope. So you were in a sorority.
Yeah, I was in a sorority.
Which one, if you don't mind me asking?
It was called Pi Phi. It was
Oh my God, you were a Pi Phi?
I was a Pi Phi.
We had Pi Phis where I went.
Really?
To
Where'd you go to
college.
college?
I went to Stanford, and they were Pi Phis.
Is
I'm trying to
it
think.
a big Greek scene there?
No, it's like a medium
Gotcha.
small Greek scene, I would say. But it's definitely like. It's definitely so. I was in the co-op scene, which was like where all the like queer people and hipsters were, and
Yeah.
we were like cooking vegan food together and having like doing mushrooms, and like that was kind of the vibe. And then the straight people who had like secret Republican parents were all in the fraternities and sororities. So Pi Phi, I feel like was like one of the more Republican ones. Theta was kind of like normie but cool. Triadelt was like lame, literally like don't even look at her. And then Kappa was all of them turned out to be gay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good for
And
them.
probably, I'm sure they had, I mean, I always think about if I was, and I literally, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say always, like I frequently, very, very frequently think about if I had been a woman like in prior to the 1400s, if I had been alive, I would have absolutely tried to join a nunnery because it's the only way that you could get through life without being like just randomly impregnated every 2 years from 16 to 36, you know? And I'm like, I would have joined a nunnery and I probably would have had tons of great sex with the other nuns, you know?
Yeah. And also you would have had like time to read.
Oh my God, it would have been
exactly,
so peaceful.
Like it would 100% of, yeah, I would have had access to books in a way that I never would otherwise. But there were a bunch at UVA. I think there were probably like 35 total sororities and frats, but like, okay, here is, I honestly haven't thought about this in a really long time. The Pi Phis were like, it was split between, I would say, I mean, not like smart, like wild stoners, which was the group that I wanted to be a lot like, and like was like, I started Rush as a joke. Like me and my best friend from UVA, who's still really close, we were like, let's just Rush because we'll get invited to a bunch of parties, you know?
Yeah.
And we did it as a joke, and then he dropped out eventually. But then I like got really obsessed with this certain group of girls in Pi Phi, and then half were kind of Bible beady, you know, like liberal Christians that wore corduroy kind of vibes. And then the other cool ones were like Kappa and Theta. Kappas were blonder. Thetas were cokier, I think. Then there was Tridel, and everyone in Tridel was really hot. And I think those were the four, or no, DG was the one that everyone was really hot. And I think those were the ones that, you know, and I was like, I mean, it's just this like totally gross hierarchical, like I was, you know, I wasn't not cool in high school, but I wasn't like the coolest person. And once it was like, oh, these girls at this thing that everybody perceives as, it was purely just like a status, like, oh my God, these extremely objectively, universally, you know, within the Greek scene recognized to be cool girls like me, like then I have to do it. And then I instantly was like, what have I done? You know, and instantly started sending extremely, you know, aggressively sarcastic emails being like, oh, when are we going to show up for the dick sucking contest? Like, you know, like, 'cause like there were all of these like, oh, like what's our theme for, you know, it was so stupid. It was so stupid.
So even in the moment, you weren't like quite able to like lose yourself in it.
Oh, no. I never. I don't think I went to maybe like 4. I mean, I went to frat parties first year. Did you, Sam?
Yeah, I went to frat
Because
parties
it's like
first
the
year.
only place that you can really drink as a first year at UVA.
Yeah.
But then after that, I probably went to like 4 total my whole time there. Like I don't know why I remained. I think maybe for like it sort of quickly morphed into. I mean, it also started as an anthropological interest, like kind of like a proto journalistic. Like I would go through Rush and almost also like to see how well I could bullshit. Like someone would be like, oh, you know, where are you from? And I'd be, or like they'd be like, I'm from Boston. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm from Boston, you know? And just see, because Rush is like this elaborately choreographed, like, it's like there's, you know, 100 girls like planted in these like exact spots that are choreographed to look spontaneous. But, and then like every 2.5 minutes, like someone sets off like an obscure sort of smoke signal and then you rotate, you know? So I knew that every conversation would only last 2.5 minutes. And so I would just see how successfully I could lie, you know? And then, but then by the end I was like desperate for the Pi Phis to like me. And then I joined.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of colleges like that, where you're like, of course, everything is so artificial. All the different groups are like fake and are going to be disbanded within the span of like 2 to 4 years. And so part of you is always like, this is bullshit. But then there is that part of you that's like, but I do want community.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Not have friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way just college forces everyone to like take everything really seriously. For some, like it's nice that you had the
we all went to
foresight.
colleges where people take stuff too seriously, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I had the opposite. So when I lived in one of these kind of like hip co-ops, at some point, these two straight guys came back from being abroad, and rather than being chosen, like everyone else, we had kind of like chosen each other to live together, but they were kind of placed in that house because that's where there were empty rooms. So suddenly this group of us, of all these people that were like thought of ourselves to be so cool and so hip and like making our stir fries, suddenly there were two like buff straight guys living there. And all of us were like, okay, I feel unsafe. I'm gonna leave. Like,
Were they
it
down
was
for
truly
the
like,
vibes?
No, I mean, they were just normal. Like, it wasn't their fault. They didn't choose to live there. That just, like, was where they were placed.
Gotcha.
They should have probably lived in, like, a fraternity or something. Like, you know, whatever. They were, like, too, like, athletic. Like, they would, like, play, you know, like, throw a football around in the backyard or whatever, while all of us were, you know, I don't know, debating. But but it was truly, like, I remember, like, going up to, like, even having conversations with like the house manager or the RA and being like, well, this simply won't do. What is our plan to get them out?
And did they stay?
No, they were not. There was no plan.
But so they did stay.
So they did. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I thought you said, did they say? No, they did stay. Yeah, they stayed.
And did you have any sort of lovely sort of like, you know?
Yeah, was there a little narrative? Was there an arc?
Yeah.
I did kind of start to appreciate them. And to be honest with you, I also found them incredibly hot.
Right. I was like, I'm hoping that like then you started fucking and then like,
Yeah, you did describe them as muscular, and you were sort of painting a picture.
And you know what else happened that really changed my mind is that we had this like some kind of, I don't know, Halloween party or costume party or something, and they both showed up in togas, and I was like, all right,
you're down to clown.
you can stay.
You're down to clown.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the fucking Greek system. I owe it, like, as much as I think it should be completely like, you know, as a methodology of sort of class matching, you know, like household wealth and rough attractiveness, conventional attractiveness, like it really just, I feel like, serves its function as just this almost algorithmic, like, you know, like there were so many.
Well, yeah, and also like racist and racialized hierarchies.
Oh yeah, they were always
like,
trying to get me in the brochures, you know, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
thank you, you know, like me and like the 3 other people that weren't white, but like there were a lot of people from my sorority and my boyfriend's frat that got married. Like it was like, you know, it was, they were really kind of evenly matched in the whatever, but but I met him because actually I met him because he was dating a girl in my sorority. Drama. She broke up with him.
So while you were sending those sarcastic emails, you were also keeping your eye out.
I will say I only met him once in college, and I was like, you know, he's cute. And then she broke up with him, and then he was doing grad school in Houston, where I was killing time before Peace Corps, because I grew up in Houston. And they had broken up like, you know, a year ago. And then I was like, hello.
Oh, they had already broken up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on.
Oh,
I
thought you were like...
would never. But there was a guy in his frat who is spellbindingly attractive. Like he was just, I mean, like I would go speechless around him. And guys in the frat, I know it happened at least a few times where it's like the guys would always be trying to have threesomes with him, being like, bro, like she really wants to, so like I guess we have to fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but it was like just this guy, you know, that they just really wanted a pretense to have sex around, you know.
Wow.
And I was like, it was so, but I was like, I love that for you guys, you know.
I mean, the obvious thing that we need to talk about is hazing and like the homoeroticism of
Exactly.
frats specifically in gay male culture are so, that is like porn topic one is like frat hazing. And I like did not ever do a frat in, I didn't do a frat in college.
Well, yeah,
but
it's
it
like
was like
someone, what's the thing that you use to spank?
Paddles?
Yeah, the
little
paddle.
brands
Paddle,
or the
yeah.
it's lots of like ass stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's lots of dick and ass stuff. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like, I didn't rush a frat, but I was like, well, wait, are they like hooking up? Like, are they like tugging on their dicks a
I
little?
know.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well,
And they kind of are, right?
They are.
And like, that's the craziest part.
Well, so I mean, sometimes it's through something like somebody is really hot and they're like, we gotta have a threesome, bro, you know? Or like, I had a really good friend that was gay that was also in Andrew's frat, and he wasn't out through college, but he had a lot of covert hookups that I think were, you know, both, you know, demeaning in the context of them being, you know, ashamed of what they were doing, you know, and he was in a strange place in his own coming out journey, he's from the South, whatever. But it also sounds incredibly hot, you know, like he would have those things where like it would be 4 a.m. and, you know, frat bros are so handsy, you know, they are touching each other's butts all the time, slapping each other on the dick. Like they know, you know,
they know where
communal
it is.
bathrooms. Like,
I know where that dick is.
But like they're so, I mean, I think about it, there's a to some extent, I mean, this is too complex of a topic to really, but the extent to which it's healthy versus unhealthy, you know, that these men have an outlet for, you know, it would be probably better if they could recognize homoerotic desire in like a normal part of, you know, a part that doesn't have to be sort of institutionally structured in the most like quote unquote straight way. But I think often like my partner, he is still close. I mean, he's pretty anomalous for a straight man. I gather the older I get, but him and the guys that he's friends with from his frat, like they talk on the phone about their feelings pretty often still, you know? And I'm like, I'm glad that this, you know, that your stunted ass, like at 18 found a structure through which that you would not, through which you would have these relationships that you would in your 30s be getting on the phone being like
Totally.
like how you doing, Trey, like, you know, like, you know, and I feel like a lot of straight guys don't do that, and the frat, it inculcated an almost like a girl talk kind of relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of what the point of like hazing rituals and these more and like the violence of it and everything and getting drunk and doing drugs and whatever is that it's like a way to, it's like the male way to bond so that finally after you've done all of that, you can talk on the phone.
Right. Exactly. It's right. It's, I mean, I'm sure that they would all agree. I will say also sorority hazing was amazing because all it was people being like, you have to chug, you know, this magnum of Boone's Farm and here's like a giant bag of weed, you know?
Okay. That's crazy that you say that because I remember in college, sorority hazing, the things I heard were insane. So one thing they had to do,
like the body stuff.
Yeah, like
Oh,
the body.
really?
So there were two things I remember. One is that they had to, I think, if anyone I went to college with is listening, then sorry if this is wrong, but I think it was Kappa. They had to crawl on their hands and knees
on broken glass
from one fraternity house to another as part of, and I can't remember like the details of like maybe they were picking up something from each one or like there was some kind, but they were like crawling on their hands and knees on the street from one house to the other for some kind of like scavenger hunt. And then the second thing, and I can't remember where this happened, was that they would like, the girls would wear underwear and sit on top of like a washing machine and they would circle wherever their fat like jiggled.
Oh my God.
Like wherever they had. Isn't that insane?
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I didn't realize it actually still happened. Like I feel like that was yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know if this was like, if at that point it didn't happen, but it had happened in recent history.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
people that had done it. Yeah.
Ours was just like you had to shotgun too many beers. Like it was such a lovely thing. Oh, I just remembered there was a hazing ritual in my boyfriend's frat that I love. I'm trying to think if I'm remembering it right. But so everyone has to get in their underwear, and then they kind of walk in a single file line back and forth like this, and just have to go quack 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 quack, and they get pelted with eggs. And when an egg hits them, they have to go ding and reverse directions.
Oh my
to me, that sounds really funny.
Yeah, I mean that's playful. That doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like
It's also
what
about the
other
tone.
words?
Like the tone of
Yeah.
whoever's leading the hazing. If they were like had a warm tone to them, I would be totally okay quacking like a duck and getting pelted with eggs.
Yeah.
If it was like, fuck you, get on your knees, frosh, I would be like, no.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't handle it's all about how it's delivered for me.
Yeah, I had one of my really good friends from high school. He dropped out of the rush process at University of Texas, which is way more intense, because I think it was like KA or something, which is a really intense frat, and I think they had to just punch each other in the face as hard as they could. And I was just
Ugh.
like, what the fuck? Like there was a lot of the UVA stuff. Some of it was really disgusting. Like there was some broken glass stuff. There was one frat that oh my God, speed. It was like the really druggy one. I think it was like you had to do a bunch of coke and then get in a coffin, and then they would put the coffin in the basement. They'd have a party over you.
Oh,
That's crazy.
no.
oh my
Like,
god.
That's crazy, and your heart just would be like,
That is terrifying.
I know. But some of the UVA stuff was crazy, but some of it wasn't as like in the deep South. It's just, I mean, it's like snuff film territory.
Yeah. Yeah, UVA was weird.
Are you from Virginia, Sam?
I lived in Virginia like my last 2 years of high school,
Gotcha.
but it was like even just like the war between the like GDIs, like the independents.
Oh my God. Do you think they still say? I don't think they said that. I talked to someone that was in law school at UVA recently that just graduated, and was like, Foxfield isn't cool anymore, which is also great news. Like everyone would get dressed up and go to the horse races and like wear hats.
The South is insane.
It's so crazy. Also, we
I mean,
would go
it's crazy.
to when I started school there, and humiliatingly, this was one of the things I was attracted to, like very straight culture. Like you would go to football games. It was the thing was called Guys in Ties, Girls in Pearls. Oh my God. And then they would yell not gay during the fight song.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it
would
was
yell.
crazy. UVA was awful. Like, I mean, it was
I
only
mean, what a
because I had
crazy
come from a
place.
place that was so much worse that, like, to me, UVA at the time seemed like liberal paradise. And then, 30 seconds after I left, or long before that, I was like, this place is insane. But people don't do that anymore.
It felt like liberal paradise to me too when I got there.
Yeah.
Like I was very much like, okay, like it's like, well, of course they're gonna say not gay, like, but there's still there's like
kidding
love in their
around,
heart,
like,
yeah,
it's
like they're
tradition.
good guys, like, like yeah, it's bad to be gay. They're gonna say not gay, but like they're gonna be nice.
Were you out in college?
I describe it as 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I
Sure.
was like I came out to my friends like second year, but like I was always like weird about it. Like it was like almost like half secretive or something.
Sure.
Even though it wasn't like I wasn't like people could talk about it or whatever, but I would like my example is like when I was in a Spanish class, I would say novia, not novio,
Interesting.
So it was kind of embarrassing to look back on. It's one of my big regrets is that I should have been more out about it.
I don't know. It wasn't the easiest. I mean, the extent to which stuff has changed in the last decade, specifically there, but obviously everywhere, but specifically, I mean, it was still like, I feel like it was still 2002 until 2015, until the Rolling Stone story came out, and then suddenly
Yeah.
everyone was like, we got to overhaul all this shit,
Yeah,
But it really
truly.
was like very like, just like I remember there was a guy in my like scholarship class who wore a ribbon belt when he went jogging, and I was just always like, I fucking want to murder you, like but it was just that it was really like 2002 vibes for me, like very like Laguna Beach, like
Yeah, it was very Laguna Beach. It's also like
flat ironed hair and like
I'm remembering a story. Someone in my year, and maybe this is boring. Someone in my year who was like frat hazing, literally like kidnapped somebody.
Oh
to
yeah,
like
there
like
was
as part of the
kidnapping.
hate, like found someone on the street and like snatched them up, put them in a van, and drove off.
Well, there was I mean there were frats that got kicked off campus because of the fucked up hazing shit they did. Like there was one frat that used to kidnap people, basically. I think we're probably thinking of the same one. And I think they would just be in their underwear, and it was during the middle of winter because rush at UVA was in January. And they would drop them off on Route 29 and with nothing.
Wait, kidnap the people that were like that were being recruited to the
Yeah,
frat?
yeah, yeah. Like it was, you know,
Okay.
it was, I think they probably knew that had probably heard that this was coming, but they would pick them up in their
Sure, sure,
underwear,
sure.
bring them, 10 miles out, no phone, no anything. And they'd be like, have fun getting back,
Oh my God.
Like it is so, it is really funny, like how pathological, how much profound harm like straight men have to cause to each other to get to the point where they can talk on the phone.
But that's the thing. But it really is. It's like they have to do that. It's almost like the ends justify the means for them
Yeah.
because they're like, well, these are my
These are my
brothers
brothers
now.
for life.
And what were we gonna do? Like get a drink and
Right.
bond? I don't think
Do you think
so.
they do that now?
Get a
Though, don't you
cocktail?
think aren't there's like tender bros, tender straight bros now?
Yeah. Wait,
I
can
wonder. I'm
actually
not
say
sure.
this?
Yeah.
This is like I was talking about this today. So I feel like because of a very well intentioned reaction against toxic masculinity, I now am like a little unaware about what men actually want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because I was thinking about this today where I was like, who is the equivalent, even just in terms of like a random average Joe straight guy? What does he even find attractive?
Oh, I feel like
I genuinely don't know. Because I'm like, even the like Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue has like Elon Musk's mom on the cover.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And it was like, it's so, which is great. I mean, I'm not, it's obviously like, it's everything is moving, but I'm just like scientifically or like anthropologically, I'm like, I now fundamentally don't understand straight men. Even I understand them even less than I did in like 2002, or at least it was all out in the open.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you like Bud Light and fetishizing twins.
Right. Right. Well, I still think there's probably sort of like a regression to the mean that you could conjure right now. Like it's probably like, like what goes through a lot of sports media on their phone, has listened to Joe Rogan
Yeah.
2 times, like loves a like
Sure,
kind of
sure.
Instagram model looking girl.
Sure.
Like still watches football on the weekends,
Fair.
kind of
Sports
thing. Like
is
probably
big,
is
yeah.
into crypto, that kind
Yeah,
of thing, like
that's
Reddit
true.
and
Wow.
crypto. But so my brother, who is straight, I recently was asking him, I was in the Philippines. I recently spent more time with my brother than I basically have since I was 16 years old because we've never lived in the same place. And we were in the Philippines for almost 2 weeks because my grandma turned 100, which was an iconic occasion to make, this incredibly long trek with my 2-year-old. But I was with a bunch of cousins that I haven't seen in a long time. So I was asking I was like also drunk, and I was asking everyone what their shame type is. Do you guys know this concept?
Wait,
I don't know
I've
this.
never heard of this.
So it's like the genre of human that you're most consistently attracted to, despite knowing that you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh.
Wow.
Which I think is a really interesting, like it really tells you a lot about a person, and everyone's answers are
Yeah.
very interesting because it's it's almost always someone that they don't respect or someone that doesn't respect them. Like it's like all of these issues are really intertwined. But I found out at that point, like I don't want to blow. I mean, there's no way my brother or his ex-girlfriend listens to this podcast. He was like toxic Latina that's really into her own booty. And I was like, you're describing your ex-girlfriend. And I was like, your shame type is like, EDM festival, like bikini, boots with the fur, glitter here girl. And then he showed me a picture of his ex-girlfriend, like dressed exactly like that, in like
Exactly.
spandex
Wow.
with
Yeah.
cutouts and like leading him towards like the festival gates, right? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're this kind of straight guy, like I knew he
Yeah.
liked girls that worked out, but I was like, you're like really into like hyper fit women in a way that I was like, this is a new anyway.
Yeah.
But it was what are your shame types?
Oh God.
George, you go first. We always.
Well, Sam really doesn't have a lot of shame when it comes to sex.
Well, I have less, but I feel like it's been a learning process.
Well, not necessarily sex, like just attraction, like a desire to get them to like you.
Yeah.
Mine is always like a little bit older and like meatier. Like I like a coach. I'm always looking for coach.
But
or
and
like,
do you feel? Would you say that's the most shameful of the sort of consistent attractions?
I think it's like kind of maybe even the more shameful version of that is just like plain. Like that's like
Yeah,
porny.
yeah.
Like a coach is porny. But like when it's just like I like a plain, like honestly, okay, here's it. Like a frat guy 10 years after the frat.
Yeah.
Like that is so hot to me, and they're
Yeah.
just like wearing a button down, and I'm like, God damn it!
Right.
this is
Their only
incredible.
physical activities, playing golf once every 2 months, kind of
Yup.
vibe. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it really
That's so funny. That's a good one. That's a really good
their
one.
chin
Frat
is
guy
gone.
10 years later.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I feel like mine is maybe like, okay, it's funny that you said like it's either what you don't respect or someone who doesn't respect you. I feel like for me it's someone I don't respect, and
who doesn't
specifically
respect
kind of like yeah. No, it's specifically kind of like a really like trend chasing fashion gay. Of
Love
some sort.
it.
Like
Love
that
it.
kind
That's
of
such
thing.
a good
There's
one.
something where I'm like, I fundamentally hate everything you stand for, but I so desperately like don't want you to look at to like dismiss me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Wow.
That's really good. Like one of my
Yeah.
one of my friends is second funniest guy on the boat.
I love
And-
that.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. But I see it. I can get into that.
Like another one of my friends is like old sad punk. Another one of my friends is potato men, like just men that look like potatoes. Another one's is
Yeah.
friendly
100%.
security guard.
Oh, sure.
Mine is
What's
like-
yours?
Mine
Yeah.
is LA music industry cokehead that's like 45.
Wow.
Like
Oh my
Wow.
god, yes.
my boyfriend's is lesbians who hate him.
Yep. Oh, another one of mine is bartender.
Oh yeah. Bartender comes up often. Like angry, sort of like that fucking couldn't care if you lived or died. Like
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. You know, I to bring it back to frats, so we were talking about how part of the excitement of, you know, being gay in a fraternity environment is the illicit nature of it. So I at some point was told there was a frat when I was in college that was actually very inclusive and was known for being like 50% gay.
Yeah.
And I like wanted to check it out and whatever. And I remember being like, wait, why would I do that? Like at that point, like this takes any of the fun out of it, and I might as well just live in a mixed gender house with like all my girlfriends
Right.
and all my guy friends. Like what, like, which is kind of sad to be like, wait, so everyone here is gay, feels safe, and is happy, and I'm like, absolutely not.
There's something to that.
No, I totally get that. Like I that was one of the reasons that I have always had a pretty, I mean, like maybe I'm a little closer to girls on the aggregate over the sum total of my life, but I've always had a really sort of mixed gender, like close friend group. And I lived with guys throughout college, like guys who are my friends. And I was like, I don't want to fucking live in a room with 35 women. Are you kidding me? And it wasn't from, I don't think it is built-in misogyny, although there was probably some built-in misogyny about why I looked down on girls who were less ashamed than I was about craving hot straight male attention. Like I was like, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna like pretend I'm here for something else or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
and
you're
there was
doing it
something about
ironically.
The
Yeah.
structure, yeah. Like I was like, I'm doing it ironically, but there was something about the structure. It was like, you know, like tonight is our date function with like this a frat, you know. And I was just like, it's so humiliating to do this.
Yeah.
But I went to UVA because I wanted to date hot guys, and but there was something about the blatantness of it. But I was like, the whole point of college, you know, to me, coming out of this like really repressive religious environment, in throughout the entire rest of my life, was like you can finally live the way that I feel like humans are intended to, which is in like kind of diverse housing environments. You know, it's like, the part of it where it's like I'm gonna live with people that are all exactly like me, like in this extremely narrow way, felt really opposite to what the whole point of like the fun is, like living with people and the kind of mess of the messier nature of living with people that are different sexualities and different genders.
Totally.
Like it seemed like that's what I wanted out of college, and then to be dating a cute straight guy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was living with men and women, I was like, huh, this isn't your parents' college. Like, I was like, I guess I'm crazy.
Like my roommate, he's a guy.
Yeah, I had women roommates for all of, except for like freshman year when I was placed with someone. But yeah, and I have to say, very powerful. I mean, to have like gay guy, straight girl roommate dynamic
the most
is one of the
powerful
most powerful
that you could ever have.
I do. You know, I was thinking, Sam, like now, I mean, when we go to like a gay vacation destination, it's like all these years later, we're literally in a house of men on Fire Island.
It's a frat.
It's a frat.
recreating the frat experience, but being intentionally
Yeah.
gay.
It's like we're literally like wearing jock straps and like working out and like like doing drugs.
Humiliating.
And then
Beautiful.
it's like
It's truly
Yeah, you're in a
beautiful.
frat.
And honestly, and I'll say it, hazing each other.
literally hazing each other. We're making each other walk on broken glass and
Yeah.
pelting each other with eggs. No, our
Yeah,
hazing
and
is like
passive-aggressively making tacos.
yeah, it's cleaning the kitchen is our hazing. Wow.
All right.
I mean, should we do our final segment?
I think so. Gia, any final thoughts on Greek life, sororities, fraternities?
No, I'm trying to think of the straightest and the gayest thing that I experienced. But as we maybe discussed, I don't remember, it was before, we started rolling. But
Sure.
I think it all is like, it really is like the straightest and the gayest. Like there's nothing straighter and there's nothing gayer than a frat. Like I think we've concluded
true.
that for science.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say for the record, I hooked up with one closeted frat guy.
Fun. Which one was he? And you can bleep it, but I want to know.
Oh God. Okay, we can believe it. I think
Okay.
his name was
Uh-huh.
I don't remember his last name.
Was he in that like the good guy frat? Was he in Phi Delta?
Yeah, I think he was.
I knew
like,
it.
Sweet guy frat. Do you know him? Did you know him?
No, but I'm like reading your type. You know what I mean? Like I'm guessing. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like very much. I found him literally on the internet.
Was he like a you guide? Like was he like a really involved person?
He was a you guy.
I knew it. I know you, Sam. This may be the first time we're actually talking, but I fucking know you.
Wow, I love that. I mean, that's
Wow.
crazy. I feel so seen.
Yeah.
Huge. Well, I think now we should do our final segment.
Oh, here's my thing. I think last thing I'll say. I think more girls in sororities should fuck. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like performative making out, maybe. But I really wish, like, I wonder now that like a lot of, like in the last 4
I
years.
do think now they are.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think they must be, and I'm excited for them and sad that I did not expand my sexuality in that, and maybe I would have gotten into the whole thing more.
Yeah. Well, it's not too late.
It's not too late. No, it's yeah.
Yeah, go back to college, join another sorority.
Well, the thing that I love about New York, honestly, like, is that it's never too late for anything. Like, I was like, this is why I can never leave, because it's literally never too late for literally anything, any weird life. Not to say that hooking up with like any unexpected life decision that you could ever make in your life. Like, you could do it when you're 7. You hear people like, tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can really, and again, this is not about sexuality, but you can really relive your adolescence whenever you want. As
100%.
long as you're kind of well dressed, no one will really bat an eye.
I mean, like, this is why I was like, oh, like, I have to, if I have a child, like, I have to stay in New York, because this is where I can, like, I don't have to, like, get serious, Like, nobody gets serious in here.
Yeah, you're like, I have a child, but it doesn't define me.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We have to do it because I have to get in an Uber to the damn Bell House. This is going to be insane.
I cannot believe we're about to be on a stage. All right.
Is it y'all? Is it like your show? You're like
It's not,
It's
our,
not our
show,
show.
which almost makes it not more stressful, but we're not in control of it. But we're like both guests on someone
Gotcha.
else's show.
And we like
Cool.
don't really know. I don't even really know the format. Like I haven't done this show in a while,
I
so I'm
agree.
like a
It's
little
gonna
like
be-
nervous.
I might just like have a little tequila shot and like,
you
it.
absolutely should.
yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna need that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so our final segment is called Shoutouts. In homage to the grand straight tradition, we give a radio shout out. Imagine it's 2001 and you're in TRL shouting out to your squad back home, but about anything that you enjoy. George, do you by chance have one? Okay,
I have
perfect.
one, yeah. How's it going, nighttime listeners? Everyone is putting on their skincare routines and getting ready for bed while we get ready for our show. I want to give a quick shout out to getting a virgin Bloody Mary at brunch. That's right. Sometimes you want the taste of a Bloody Mary and you don't want the alcohol. And on top of that, sometimes you're actually hungover as you are at brunch. And it is delicious. It is good for digestion, I heard. And it gives you something to drink that isn't orange juice or coffee. And also, everyone will think it's a huge sleigh to order something that other people haven't considered. And you will notice, and I promise you this, that if you do this, everyone else in the table will be like, wait, you know what? Make that 2. Make that 3. Make that 4. And then suddenly everyone will be having a Virgin Bloody Mary. It'll be the best morning of your life. Cheers.
Woo! Wow, George, I love when you like have like little tips for like how to have power at the brunch table.
That's really
Like,
nice.
yeah.
That's really nice.
I mean, I understand that, Sam, obviously you were, almost spitting at me. That's how disapproving you were. However, I would say that, yes, sometimes you want to drink at brunch, but sometimes you don't.
No,
I
actually
never want to drink at brunch. TBH.
I never
Yeah.
want to drink at brunch ever. I think
Never.
this is genius. I think
It's really like a brunch is the perfect place for a mocktail of any sort.
I literally have not wanted to drink before noon since I was, I don't know, ever. Like I just can't do
brings
it.
me no joy.
Yeah. No, it's Pi Phi behavior.
Yeah. It's like, what is this, like midweek 2005?
literally.
Like, yikes, that was a long time ago. That's terrifying.
Wow. Okay, I'll go. What's up, everybody around the globe? I just want to give a huge shout out to apple-based desserts. I have been getting into desserts recently. I've been deciding to stop being so stoic and stop being so against things that are pleasurable and just for fun. And so I am eating desserts sometimes, and I think fruit-based desserts are the best. It's weird to me that we don't explore more of them. I'm watching the Great British Bake Off. I'm normal now, and there are so many fruit-based desserts, and I'm like, that's not in my stores. That's never been mentioned to me, and I don't want chocolate. I don't want vanilla. Give me orange. Give me lime. And so I want to say apple-based desserts, they're American. They're here. We have them in our stores, and they are delicious, and they are fall. They're autumnal, and it's autumn, baby, and I love them. XOXO. Sam.
Woo!
Okay.
I love
Wow.
fruit-based
Wow.
desserts.
I love that.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever made a blood orange olive oil cake?
Yes.
No.
I know exactly
Yeah,
the recipe you're
I
talking
love
about.
that. I love that one. That's a really good, like, wintry one, I feel. And then there's
Yeah.
also a Smitten Kitchen recipe for like an apple cake that has like the fat is like Greek yogurt, and it's like super
Yep.
moist. You can have it for breakfast. You can have it for late night. Like you can have it like 2 p.m. with a little coffee. Like I love a fruit
Yeah.
dessert.
Yogurt based and olive oil based
The best.
desserts are big.
Easily
Yeah.
my favorite genre of desserts.
Yeah. So,
So
good.
good.
I really need to expand my palate. I'm listening and I'm learning.
I'm gonna send you. I think that the blood orange one maybe is Food 52. There's another one. This is not fruit, but there's a olive oil zucchini bread. That's
They stay
huge
moist
me
for
in my
so
life.
long,
Yeah.
It's just really, it's really nice. Also, I feel like an underrated thing is like I made like a pear mascarpone, kind of like tart
Yes.
stitch, and like for
Yeah.
my last Friendsgiving type thing, and it was a hit. Just saying, it was a hit.
Wow. Well, there you have it.
I'm nervous to do
Gia, would
this.
you
I'm
like
ready,
to do a
though.
shout out? Yeah, go for it.
What up, ladies? Shout out to all my Pi Phi girls. What are the colors? Burgundy and blue angels. Just want to say a huge shout out to Matty Healy from the 1975 because his show at MSG on Monday was so crazy. Luce, you were there, and it was like in between they played the first album, and then he did like what he called like Black Pill musical theater in between. And the first half I hated it because I was like, this is giving Pratt student sophomore year final project, but then he started eating a raw steak, and then I was like, it's giving Pratt's student second year final project in a good way. And then I was so horny, and the rest of the show was amazing. Shout out Matty Healy.
Woo! Wow, an incredible shout out.
And honestly, I do think he fits into your shame type a
Oh,
little.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, he was just ripping
wow.
cigarettes on stage. I was like, it's so cool. Like, I was like, damn, it's cool.
Wow. When someone just is cool, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
Gia, how do you feel about Alex Turner from
Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, of course I think he's hot. I mean,
Yeah, like, that's a
anyone
big
that
one
is
for me.
good at playing music is wild. I mean,
Yeah.
he I think is hot just objectively, but like I think that anyone, literally anyone, if they are playing music on stage and they are doing it
Yeah.
well,
No,
they
it's
are the
true.
most
It's
attractive
true.
person in the world. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Wow, I love
agree.
that.
Yeah.
Gia, thank you so much for doing this podcast. We really
It's
appreciate
been an
it.
absolute honor and a
We've
blast.
It has been so
you
fun to talk
know,
to you guys.
We were so stressed out, and we were really looking forward to this in particular.
No, I bet you're so
A
stressed.
damn
You're like,
highlight.
oh God, I hope this is like fine. We have so much
No,
stuff to do.
no. We were hanging out with people last night after the show, going, "Guess who's on tomorrow? You won't believe who's on tomorrow."
It's true. We were. It's true. It's true.
I hope you guys rip at the Bell House, have that tequila shot. Good luck with
We
the
will.
flight.
Trust me.
Get a Virgin Bloody Mary on the
Thank
flight.
you.
Everyone will be like, slay,
Yeah.
me. Like, make it too.
The flight attendants are just like exhausted by the end. Their knuckles are
God.
bleeding. Wow. Well, I guess this is
All
the
right.
end.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Gia.
Bye.
Bye.